views among my uploads. So please check that out. I'll put the link here in an annotation. So let's get started. Now, first, what you need to remember when making footage like this is to make your footage trackable, easily trackable. What I mean is, because you'll be using motion tracking in After Effects, you must have good footage to use in order to track properly. Now, as a good filmmaker that you are, there are some reminders you must remember when shooting video. So first, if you want to eliminate motion blur, at least most of the motion blur, then you should be shooting at a shutter speed of around 100 to 120. If you're shooting at 24 frames per second. In that way, the motion blur will be eliminated and you'll have a clean track in post. So, yep. Okay, so let's start. So first is to import your footage. Yep. And look for a point where you want to track. In my Firehands video, I found that these finger folds are good to track, especially because I do not see any point here with high contrast. Yep. So this fold will probably be a good enough motion tracking point. So let's see here. So yep. Let's say I'll start at the 16th frame. So we'll go to motion tracking, click your footage and track motion. So we'll only be needing the position. So here, let's do this. Yep, that's good enough. And yeah, so let's start the track. This will probably be a good enough track, passable. Won't be perfect. Okay, we've got a good enough track right here. Because my computer's kind of slow since I'm recording footage on my screen. So now that we've done that, create a new null object. Edit target and yep, null 2. Okay. Then press apply. X and Y. Okay. So now that tracking data is applied to the null footage here. Yep, it's pretty good. So basically, the effect is far from perfect, and you will be needing stock footage of fire. There are lots of stock footage over the internet, and for example, Video Copilot's Action Essentials pack, which I'm using right now. There's also what they call this, destruction effects. I think they also have good fire footage, and some guys are giving off free stock footage over YouTube, and you just need to find those guys and download those stock videos. So here I'll be using some stock footage. Yep. So basically, just import this into your timeline, then parent null. So our fire layer will adopt the tracking data in our null object. So it'll start at frame 16. So basically, we need to position this accordingly. So let's just put it on a finger. In my Firehands video, I use multiple instances of this fire footage to create the effect. So yeah, rotate that a bit so it's in line with the footage. Scale it up a bit. Oh, wait. Oh, it's in the other direction. Basically, the main thing that you should look at here is selling the effect. So that means you need to make it as realistic as possible. But if you can't, you need to sell it to your viewers. Meaning, it needs to look at least a third real or something like that. So yeah, this is good, I think. So yep, it'll start at 16, right? 16. Now this in itself doesn't look good, so we'll just change the what do you call this, blending mode, I guess, to add, and it looks a little better. And now what I'd like to do to sell this effect is pattern it to the contour of your hand. So in this case, I used a mesh warp effect and applied it to the fire layer right here. Now, in order to make this more manageable, I guess you'll change this to 5 and 5. Yep. Oops. Control Z. Now we need to match this with the contour of the finger. So let's just move this. Yep. And a little up, this down. And as you can see here, there's this fold in my hand. So you can pattern that there. And move this up a bit. Yep. Then basically all you need to do is just look at what you're editing, because if it looks good to you, then it'll probably look good to others who are watching. So it may look a little funky, but I guess that's a trade-off if you're using stock footage and not using an advanced particle system or actually putting your hand on fire. I would also like to reiterate, this is in no way related to how Freddie Wong did his fire hands effect, because I still can't figure it out. It's either it's real or he used a real particle system to generate that effect, which I guess I doubt. So here we have the effect. Yep, it's stuck to the footage nicely, and we'll just do a little more editing for the mesh warp. Yep, that's probably good enough. Yeah. Now if you want to animate this mesh warp, first you just need to go to the fire layer, then the mesh warp, and here, distortion mesh. So say for this 28 frame, we'll put it like this. Then for the next frame, let's put it like this. So it will animate that. So you can customize the fire even more, which will probably compensate for its being recorded. Yep. So yeah, I'll just remove that since I do not want that kind of effect. It's just Control Z. For my fire hands video, I used different layers of fire and recording. So I'll just add this here, then probably scale it down a bit. Yep. There, rotate it a bit, and change the blending mode to add again. Parent it to the null. Oops, I forgot to parent it on the 16th frame. Yep, so position it again, rotate it. Yep, then parent it to the null. If it's parented, then it's tracking good. Yep, then lastly is the warp mesh warp again, and we'll just change that to 4 and just match the contour of my hand as best as I can, of course. Just match that. Yeah, this is just a rough example of my fire hands video. Yeah, it doesn't look good, but with more effort and time, it'll look great. So lastly, of course, is color correction. In order to sell your effect, you must color correct your footage. So I've noticed in daylight and outside, when you're outside, fire is a little brighter, so you need to adjust the curves like that. Just adjust them until they look good to your eyes. Yeah, basically. Then what else? So for footage like this, I used a linear wipe. Yep, a linear wipe to create the. Just hide that for a minute. As you can see here, oops, see, it'll show like this. Now, what you can do, this is what I did when I summoned the fire. So basically, you can hide that fire right there. Then, oops, yep. Then on the 16th frame, you can start showing it. Linear wipe there. Let's remove that. So yep, let's start there. Add a keyframe, then move some frames, then bring that to 0, so you'll have this kind of effect. Let's move it a little farther away. Yep. Then you can also feather this footage, so the transition will look more natural. Yep, that looks pretty good. So yeah, that's basically it. My greatest tips here in this video is do your best to sell the effect. And I'm sorry if the video was kinda, clunky. It's just I was tired and I needed to do this because a guy here on YouTube requested it, since he did it for a project, and I did this immediately so he could see it and probably use it in his video. So yep, good luck to your school project, and I hope I helped. And to all you other guys watching,